So I'm excited to talk to Sheriff Pat Breeden today. It's kind of funny because we just recently, you and I, Ferb, went on a field trip to Sumter County.
You got to see the courthouse, yes.
I did. Okay, but I didn't like not being able to take my cell phone in.
I know.
I felt like I was on an island, isolated, and I was like, oh my gosh. But Sumter County's changed a lot.
And you were well behaved through the event, and I was not well behaved.
I just want people out there to know that I was very well behaved.
She was.
And I actually had to calm you down a little bit a couple times.
Well, because it was something silly where somebody had taken my daughter to court, civil court, over something silly. Everybody knew she was
silly. Doesn't
win.
even get to describe it. That poor judge.
Everybody knew she was going to win. It was going to be fine. But as the mom, I had to get up and leave the courtroom once.
I know, it always cracks me up because people will be like, I know when we were even going to start this podcast, I'll never forget Kendra and Doug saying, looking at you and being like, and you need to make sure Shayna's behaved. And I'm like, I don't think people know Lori as well as they think they know Lori.
Well, don't mess with my kids.
Don't mess with mine either.
So, yeah.
No,
that's the thing.
It would not. I would enjoy handling it.
So that's why.
But we did have fun in the grand scheme of things. And
you got to have the tour of Sumter County.
I did. And it's funny because that area was still kind of quaint, even though going into it, you can't recognize it at all. But I did feel bad for the judge. I felt like he was probably sitting there the whole time going, oh my God, I went to law school for this many years. Then I was a lawyer. Now I'm a judge.
I know, to hear this kind of silly stuff,
yeah.
You probably thought that.
Yeah.
I did feel bad for him, but thank goodness he made the right decision.
He did make the right decision. We knew he would.
But it was still stressful.
Oh, yeah.
So I did have to, but Shayna made friends with the bailiff.
I made friends with everybody.
And so instead of throwing me out when I maybe got a little bit loud, he would just go, shh, give me a little nod.
He was very lovely.
He was lovely.
He was very lovely.
We were the only ones in there, so yeah, it was fine. And it all turned out the way it was supposed to.
I do like making friends with new people. And I know you make fun of me about that. But I'll be honest.
Everywhere we go.
We do. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Wawa. It doesn't matter.
Now, sometimes I don't want to be bothered. I'd prefer to eat my dinner alone and not make friends with the people sitting next to me. But you've made friends with everybody in the line sitting here.
But I don't know. That's just who I it's funny because I can talk to anybody. I can talk to a wall.
We know.
I think the only people I find strange in the world are the ones that I can't get to talk back. Then I start to question.
Well, when they give you one-word answers.
Yeah, it makes me question.
Yeah.
What are they hiding?
We're not going to get one-word answers today.
No, especially because of your history, and I'm excited about that. He really is he's a good guy, and I'm looking forward to hearing about everything he wants to do in Sumter County because he has a big job now. I mean, his population has drastically changed since he started doing this this year.
It's so different than when he started out. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'm excited to talk.
And
to
we always have fun together, boo.
We always do.
We do.
Thanks for joining us on the Style Podcast today. Today, I'm thrilled to have Sumter County Sheriff Pat Breeden with us today. I've known Pat for a lot of years. I was thinking about it last night. I think we met in middle school.
Probably middle school.
And
what year
6th
would that
grade.
have been?
I don't even know what year. We graduated in 1990.
It was recent because we're so young.
That's right. That's right.
It's true.
We graduated in 90 together, so we've got a lot of history. So I'm thrilled to see you as sheriff. I know you've done a lot of campaigning. Yes. So what was that like? Because you started, all of us knew that you were going to win by a landslide, but you didn't want to take a chance. So you started early.
I started way early, and the way I judge it is because I went through 2 fairs with it. So because I had a booth in the fair.
Yes,
so
you did.
That's how I met you. Was the year you took me to the fair for the first time.
I campaigned for 2 solid years because I didn't want to take nothing to chance, and I took it serious and campaigned for 2 solid years, and it was very consuming in my life.
It was, yeah. We saw you everywhere. I saw you everywhere. So I can't imagine all the places that you had to be that I didn't see you, like something every single night.
Right. Well, as you know, Sumter County is one of the fastest growing communities, and we have a large retirement area, and there's always something going on or something to be at. So I was on the go.
Yes, constantly. I remember the night of the election, and I remember sitting at home because I live in Fruitland Park, sitting at home in Fruitland Park, and I had my laptop up trying to pull it up. But I remember from as soon as the return started coming in, you leapt ahead like almost, I think it was like in the 70 So you were at 70% by then, and I'm like, okay, he's got it. This is cool, which we all knew you would anyway.
Yeah, there wasn't a doubt.
Because you've spent your whole life in law enforcement there, right? You started right
Started
in
at the age of
90?
19, right after we graduated high school.
Yeah.
I went to work for the sheriff's office and just worked my way through the ranks. I started in the detention center.
Did
and
you?
eventually moved out to patrol. And
So you've seen, compared to what it was like in Sumter County when you were 19 to now, it's a drastic difference. I know. That was one of the things I wanted to ask you. What, as far as all the new retirees that have moved into the area, what issues or strategies or things have you had to like change or wrap your brain around as far as the difference in the density and everything now?
it's traffic. Everybody, that's the number one complaint I get in Sumter County is, we're a very low crime rate county. We have very little major crime as far as aggravated assault, stuff like that.
Right.
What we're targeted for is mainly thefts of opportunity, stuff like that, scams, because it's a target.
yeah.
It's a target area. But traffic is my number one complaint because the growth. We're growing so
Traffic
fast.
is awful everywhere.
When I started as a deputy sheriff, there would be, most of the time, there was probably 3 of us working in the entire county. I'd have the south end of the county, another guy'd have the north, and we'd have a supervisor out. It's definitely changed.
Yeah, I've read that you have over 400 employees in the sheriff's department, and I don't think there was anywhere near that when you first started.
Maybe 40 when I started.
Yeah,
And that's
'cause
with,
there was
that's
like-
with the jail. That's everything. That's civilian. That's everything.
I remember there were like 3 zones because I was friends with everybody that was deputies. Some, like you said, somebody would be in the north end, the south end, somewhere in the middle or whatever.
Yep.
But that was it. So when I saw over 400, I was like, that's insane. Like, who knew that? But like you said, traffic. I had to go somewhere. I can't remember where we were going, but I had to go from Brownwood to the interstate in Wildwood.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
So it was the backup just on
44.
44 to get to 301. I had never seen anything like that before. And then I took 301 down to Bushnell one day from Wildwood. I'm like, where are all these people coming from?
And if you get a crash that blocks up the interstate and everything is deterred around,
Yeah.
it really gets bad.
It's bad. I had to go last night. My son went to Puerto Rico for a senior trip, and I was the mom that picked him up from the airport. And the turnpike, because there was a couple of fender benders,
Yep.
it was literally 5 miles an hour for like 20 miles. And it's getting that way. And I know, okay, so I will say this. I don't know if anybody from DOT's listening, but if we do any more roundabouts, can we not do double lane? Can we do single lane?
Yeah, maybe you
Double
need
lane confuses
maybe you
people.
need an informational tutorial video on how to drive in traffic circles or
We
roundabouts.
actually have one
Do
out,
you?
and we actually have pamphlets that we send out to everybody.
Clearly nobody watches
And,
them,
Is
including
it
myself.
they added a roundabout? Was it in Wildwood? Did they add one?
There's not one in Wildwood.
There's not one in Wildwood?
They're all in the villages right now.
Are they all 2 lane?
All of them's 2 lane.
Yeah.
I think we need to go to 1 lane.
On 470, that's where
470.
Yes, that's where I was at the other day, and my GPS, which I knew where I was going, but I turned my GPS on to see what it was going to say. I guess I haven't done the update. Had no clue what was happening, but I was like, who are all these people? Where are they coming from? I know it's the villages, but I couldn't get over how busy 470 was because it was the day we did our field trip for my daughter over to the courthouse. But
and your bailiffs, they're very
yeah, everybody
lovely.
there
They
was
were- they
great.
were my
We
friends.
experienced
We
them all.
made friends.
We made
Well,
friends.
470 used to be just a straight shot.
Yes.
from
It
did, a
Sumterville.
2-lane road.
It's not anymore. So
And the
it's-
GPSs
you
can't
get
keep up.
confused.
It's like,
Yeah.
where am I?
We
Yeah.
were like, what is
We
that?
actually had people when they were construction that call us in and say, look, our GPS, we're in the middle of a cow pasture somewhere. We don't know where we're
Yeah.
at. We'd have to guide them out because,
Yeah.
the construction is still going on and they would
And
get
that's
lost.
a lot of the traffic. I think when we were coming back, you were like, where are these
Yeah.
people? I would say 75% were construction type vehicles.
They were probably getting off work because it was around 3.
Yeah.
But we were also talking about, do you remember when we were kids and the 911 system didn't exist yet in
no.
Sumter County? So
I don't remember that.
So where I grew up in Center Hill, I didn't have I had a P.O. box. If you needed to send me something, it went to P.O. Box 206 in Center Hill. And we didn't have house
How'd you
numbers.
get pizza delivery?
We
We
didn't.
didn't have no pizza place to
We didn't
deliver
have pizza.
from.
We didn't have anything.
If we
didn't
wanted to go anywhere and do anything, we had to come to Leesburg or Inverness.
Yep.
Inverness, yeah.
We had to travel. But it's funny because you talk about the 911 system as a young deputy, and this is how we got dispatched. It would be they would call my ID number, And it would be, of course, a lot of times we knew everybody or we
Right.
knew the roads.
You
It
knew
would
where they
be
lived.
7 Curves Road in Krumacoochee,
Yep.
go to the teepee house.
Yes.
And if you didn't know where that was at, there was actually a house made like a teepee.
Yes.
Or it would be, the third curve on the right with the pink house with a blue
floors
car in the yard.
I mean, because I was born and raised, like I said, a lot of my grandfather's family, the Wilsons, are from Webster, but I was born and raised in Leesburg. But it's always been so funny to me that there's just this county line,
It was
and
so
that
different.
life is so different. Just over, if you jump over,
Yeah.
So-
I remember telling people how to get to my house in Center Hill. You'd say, go down the old Leesburg Road, because that's the road you took to get to Leesburg. Go down the old Leesburg Road, turn left at this tree near this fence, and then we didn't even have a street name. Like, it was just like a laneway kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, as part of me, it's kind of sad because it is. I used to the trees, the beautiful trees.
Yeah, we're losing
going down
a lot of them.
470 or
Environmental
things
stuff.
like that, and the pasture land and stuff like that, and a lot of it's gone now. It's changed. The landscape in Florida has drastically changed in so many, even here in Lake County. Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all are growing fast in Lake County too because, it's just, Florida's growing.
It
in
is. It
It
general.
is. And look,
So-
I was born and raised here. I love this state. I mean, I have no desire. I mean, we got the beaches. If you want to see a little bit more of a seasonal thing, go to North Florida. I mean, you have everything here. I love it. But yeah, there is a lot.
But who
of
would have
people.
thought when we were kids with
would be
no
like this.
street, like no house numbers, that Sumter County would be what are we, the
property of
places
first
that
or
price stuff
second
with no house
fastest growing in?
Well, I'll tell you what else we're unique for. We have, in the village area, we have just about as many golf carts that travel the roads as we do cars. So we not only have to deal with vehicular traffic, we have to deal with golf cart traffic.
Can you pull the golf carts over the
absolutely.
same way?
Yep. Now, there's some different stuff if they're on the private multi-mobile paths that are located like on the golf course and stuff. That's all private area. The only thing we can enforce out there is like DUI. But if they're
Which
attached
I'm
to
sure
the
you do
road,
have.
then we can stop them for speed, illegal stuff like that,
Yeah.
DUI, stuff like that. And we do have several golf cart crashes. It happens.
Oh yeah, we hear about them.
So
The golf cart, speaking of golf cart areas, I was out there, I was in Brownwood because I was waiting on my dog to get groomed, and she wasn't ready yet. So I walked over to the square. It wasn't even 5 o'clock. There were tons of golf carts coming in. I know. I'm like, these people are so
people are partying.
these people are so happy, and the line to the bar was already lining up. So you can't drive your golf cart impaired either, right? So
correct. So,
so
but
you-
they're living their best life.
they were so happy.
Having a great time.
They were so
I say
happy
it all the time.
because
That's
working,
amazing.
Yeah.
Since we're usually working during the day, I'm not out there on the square. They were already dancing. The band was already going. Like I said, the line to the bar was already going. And I'm like, these people are
line
so
to the
happy.
bar starts early.
And everywhere
They
I'm
have a
going,
blast, but they worked hard their entire lives for that. And I have to say, it's so funny. My daughter goes to Florida State, and her roommate last year is from Fort Lauderdale. And she was coming up through somewhere and stopped in Brownwood.
Yeah.
And she was like, Miss Shayna, I stopped in this town, and it was like this little old West thing, and it was so cute. It was almost like being at Disney. I'm like, oh, girl, that was the Villages. You stopped in Brownwood. But to hear her describe it as an outsider, everything is like so well put together and themed and pretty. And hey, I'm not gonna lie,
It's all planned out.
It is.
And all the growth now is south of 44. So
Yeah.
Brownwood is going to actually, by the time it's all said and done, Brownwood's going to kind of be in the middle of the villages because they've got the East Point coming in, Middleton, all areas like that
Mm-hmm.
near the school, near the charter school. So
is the
everything's
East
moving
Point
south.
the thing that's going to be closer to Center Hill, or is that over off of 470?
It's off of 470. It's kind of
470,
near the
okay.
charter school area. out
Okay,
that
that's
way.
where that is.
So,
And I was just talking to a friend of mine this morning that Leesburg in that south area, in their area, is adding a 6,500 home community, not far, but in Lake County. So that's only gonna,
right.
you know.
And
add
part
to
of the villages in that area, there's already part of the villages is in northern Lake County.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's part going into southern Lake County down towards the Okahumpka area and
Yep.
down in there
it.
off
Oh
of
yeah, that
470.
doesn't look the same either. Coming like it had been on. I used to take when I was going to Lake Sumter, I would take classes in Sumterville.
Right.
And looks nothing. I mean, absolutely to get there, it's unbelievable.
The
how
landscape
it
has
is.
definitely changed back from when me and you grew up over there.
It's like, where'd all these houses come from?
We didn't have a McDonald's. We didn't have anywhere to. We had Winn-Dixie.
We hung out at the Pickwick.
We hung out. We did. We hung out.
We hung out at
Pickwick.
McDonald's in Leesburg,
But
so
we
it's
didn't
all
have
good.
anything like that. So to hear the statistics now on how fast it's growing, it's like that is insane. We would have never dreamed that. Never.
We always talk about it the other day because it's funny. We'd go to Pickwick, and that was in the county, and then the little grocery store across the street was in the city. So when the county
Yes.
cops would run us off the Pickwick, we'd move over to the city, and
I love
and when they'd
that.
run us out, it was small. It was small town fun.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what it was the same way in Leesburg.
So-
If it wasn't at McDonald's, it was a place we called the Circle. It was actually a cul-de-sac at a dead end road or something like, or Tally Box was always great. Now that's been completely destroyed. Our little,
Yeah, it's an industrial area.
yeah, it's an industrial area now.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more of our conversation with Sumter County Sheriff Pat Breeden. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care.
Get all the Social Security disability benefits you deserve with disability consultants Chris Bell and Jeff Bell. Our experienced Florida certified ADR handle claims on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't pay unless we recover money for you. We have established a strong reputation as a firm that cares and provides the best care to its clients. Call us today or visit cbell.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today on the Style Podcast. We have Sumter County Sheriff Pat Breeden with us. Pat, I wanted to ask you, I know it was a big decision to run for sheriff, but how did you come up with, okay, I'm going to do this? Because it's a lot of work. Like, it's dedication. I know you've dedicated your life to being a public servant and in Sumter, but how did you guys come up and say, all right, Pat's the guy?
Well, we looked at a lot of different things because there was a couple of, and we went to school with Darren Seegers.
Yes,
and
and
he's
I've
a captain with us, and
Yep.
he had thought about running at one time. And as we sit around, because we knew Sheriff Almers was going to retire, and we're like, well, one, who has the best chance of winning, who's local and knows the background of the area and knows the agency. So we sit down, and Darren says, look, I'm going to retire. He says, I don't want to run, so that ruled him out of the mix.
Yep.
And we just talked about it, and everybody come to the conclusion that said, hey, Pat, you're the best one to run. You're from here. You're well-known here, and your chance of winning is pretty good. And I've got a good background with the agency, so that's how it come about.
Yeah,
So-
because I used to tease Darren about it, and I said, Darren, we know too much about you. You can't run. So I would tease him about it all the time.
So-
But yeah, it was a lot to take on because you have a commitment every single night, every single.
It wasn't, to be honest with you, I love Sumter County. I love what I do. This is my 35th year doing this job, and I still enjoy going to work every day. And if I didn't, it wouldn't be worth doing, but I still love serving the community. And, we've got a great agency, and we want to continue that agency. We want to see that agency grow. We got a lot of great people that work there, and I want to take care of those people because they do take care of our citizens.
Do you see a lot of younger people showing interest now and going to the academy like you had to go to? And
I'm going to be honest with you. Recruitment is a struggle, probably not only statewide, but nationwide, to get recruits that want to get into law enforcement. We sometimes get a lot of people that want to get into law enforcement, but we don't get a lot of people that are qualified to get in law enforcement, if that makes any sense.
yes, it does.
So we're very active on our recruiting program, as is every agency around us. Currently, we have full staffing, but a lot of them are in training. And we've just started a new thing now to where we pay to go to the academy. So
Oh, wow.
we'll send you to the academy, and you're getting paid. You're not getting paid the full deputy sheriff rate as you go
Right.
to the academy. And once you graduate, you come on with us, then you get bumped up to the
It's
full
like a
rate.
commitment.
But
They make a
it's
commitment to
It's a
you.
commitment to us, and it's our commitment to them, and it's their
Yeah,
commitment
that's
to
a
us.
good way to do it.
So, and we've also started an Explorer program. So as the kids graduate from the Explorer program, if they choose to come on with us, we'll send them to the academy, and we'll hire them because we know what we're getting because they've been a part of our Explorer program through high school.
What
So-
made you get into law enforcement when you graduated?
Well, Lori will know, but there wasn't many choices when we graduated high school to do in Sumter County. But as I grew up, my father, with his job that he did, he was involved with the sheriff's office a lot. So I seen the deputies, and I interacted with what few we had back then. And I always thought, man, that's neat what they do and how they're involved in the community. So that's one thing that kind of led me to it. And like I say, there was not many options. You either worked at the state prison, county public works, or you went into law enforcement, or you had to commute somewhere to get a job in Sumter County, or you were a farmer. And I looked at it, and as I had seen everything that was going on, I said it was a field that really interested me. So one of those
You're good at
one of those
it.
childhood
Yeah.
things that you like. You were kind of enamored by the cop in the uniform, and you said, I want to do that. So
And once you get to the sheriff's level, you're a figurehead, and you're not just a public servant. You're the guy who's out front shaking hands, greeting people. You're the face of the sheriff's department. So, which is cool because a lot of the people that we did go to high school with work there and are behind you with all of it.
Well, it
Right.
creates a sense of trust too. I know it's good for us here in Lake County, Peyton, same thing from here. And I think when you're from somewhere and you really have area knowledge and the people trust you, I just think you do a better job.
Right.
Well, and
Being
being
from the community
being
is
the
huge.
sheriff though, there's nobody else to blame. Now it falls on me.
That's
So-
right. That's right.
But it's funny you talk about your friends and stuff, and Sumter County is very supportive because I was always fair. Even when I was on the road, I had people that I arrested that said, "Hey, you were fair. You treated me good." And as
Right.
I run for sheriff, I had one guy I remember to this day. He come up and thanked me. He said, "You saved my life," because he had some issues, and I took him to jail and helped him get some stuff. And he says, "You saved my life because I would have stayed on the path I was going on." And it's stuff like that that makes the job worthwhile. So, and of course, as friends growing up, there's those that as soon as you put this badge on, they think you're a different person.
Yes.
But I'm still Pat Breeden at heart, and I still have my friends. I put my pants on the same way everybody else does.
Right.
And but sometimes you're viewed different when you get into law enforcement.
I
They
think
don't
that
want to.
I think that's important, Pat, though, because
So.
you're right. People do view you differently, especially when you have a platform or when you're in the public eye, and they think you're going to be a different person. But I tell people all the time, and I know you have the same philosophy. I don't know how to be anybody but Lori. Like
Right.
me or not, that's it.
Best advice I got, and I'm going to plug Sheriff Grinnell here a little bit. One of the best words of wisdom I got from the other sheriffs when I started running was they says, "Be you. Don't let anybody ever change you. You just be Pat."
Right.
So, and that's truth. I mean, because that's how people know me. That's what I am. I'm just Pat Breeden. That's
Right.
me.
Well, and coming off of having Sheriff Farmer, who had been there for a very long time, I know you were the undersheriff, which is essentially leadership and running the sheriff's department as well. But there are a lot of people who knew him because his family was from there.
Right.
Everybody was from there. So I don't think you would have had as much success had you not been from there. And you have the same kind of attitude and family network and everything that he had because people knew you. You're from there. You're
Right, and we're
vested there.
still we're in the medium-sized bracket now as far as agencies go. We're not small, but we're not large. But you have that hometown feel. People have my cell phone number. They can call me and say, "Hey, I've got this problem." There's still that personal touch there. And, the deputies in Sumter County, we're not large enough to where I don't know and can't see every deputy sheriff,
Right.
So you get to the large agencies and you just turn into an ID number.
Right.
At Sumter County, we try to keep the family environment, and we know your name, and we know your family, we know who you go to school with, and that's important. And we get a lot of people that come to work for us that say, "I like the family feel, and you treat the people good here."
It's amazing to me that it's still like that. And I mean, as much as it's grown over here in Lake and then in Sumter, but it does not matter. I can go somewhere and I always run into somebody I know because I'm from here. And so it is kind of nice, as big as we get, that we still have that, within the.
But you knew as a kid, and I talked to Laura about this because she knew as a kid, we knew every deputy sheriff by
We
name
did.
because there was only like 3 of them,
Yeah.
or 4, whatever there was working that night. But nowadays, a lot of people say there's so many new faces. I don't know all the deputies that are here, and because we're growing and we're always hiring and new deputy sheriffs coming on.
Yeah, I was flipping through our yearbook the other day. I was sent Shayna some crazy pictures from it, but I was flipping through our yearbook and I'm like, we knew we were such a small school compared to now
Right.
that we knew the people in the classes ahead of us. We knew the people in the classes below us. And I was trying to count, I think there was like 140, 130 something, I don't know, in our class. So you know everybody, you know what's going on. And for the most part, looking at the photos, with the exception of a few, we pretty much all know where everybody's at,
Yeah.
what they're doing, how they're doing, what's going on with them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that's how, and a lot of us did stay in this area. There's a few that didn't.
I stayed in this area, and a lot of them that moved away found their way back eventually, and
Yeah.
they come back. They just missed home.
Yeah.
So.
Your sister moved away, right?
She moved away, and she still moved away.
She's still gone?
Fell in love and moved to Georgia.
Yeah,
You know
there
how
you
that
go.
goes.
But she's
she
not too
also,
far.
She also followed her job up there, and
Right.
she works for the federal system. So, but she's close to retirement. She wants to move back.
Does she?
So
That's good.
She probably never will, but she wants to.
Yeah,
So.
that's cool. So tell me, is there any kind of technology that's going on over in Sumter County at the Sheriff's Department that you're proud of, that we would not believe you had that kind of technology going on?
It's funny because we do a Citizens Academy, and it's a 10-week academy for people to come in, and they go once a week it's a 3-hour course each day for 10 weeks, and we go over every aspect of the sheriff's office. And by the end of the
Shayna and I
thing-
might need to sign up for that.
And we cover everything from the court system to the jail system to the patrol system to everything we got to CID. And the people don't realize by the end of the week, they're like, we didn't know Little Sumter County had all this stuff. We're proud of technology. We have, I think, one of the top drone programs out there, and that offsets cost of the helicopter.
I would have never
We
guessed
have
that.
2 to 3 drones on every shift that are in patrol cars, so they're deployed faster than a helicopter, and they have a lot of the same capabilities as a helicopter. They have a great camera on them. They have infrared, so they can see at night, and they're right there on shift. So versus a helicopter, because it's expensive to fly a helicopter all on just routine patrol. So a lot of times the helicopter's on standby, but a drone can be deployed in 5 minutes or less. So
I know and technology has changed so much, and we're seeing more and more cyber attacks. And I know you guys recently had an issue with that, along with, I know Leesburg Regional had one a few years ago. It affected us and what we do every day. What are y'all doing and I talk to my friends in IT all the time, and they're like, it's kind of just a waiting game to see. You do everything you possibly can, but they become smarter and smarter every time you turn around to sneak in.
Well, we're constantly enhancing our technology and our firewalls and everything. And I'm not a computer guy, so that's getting deep in the woods for me. But our IT specialists we've got outside companies and everything, and we're back up and going now. And when we did get hacked, it never. You would never know it on the road patrol or from the safety aspect, because it never shut us down or slowed us down for our safety as a citizen.
Which is amazing, because I remember when it happened at the hospital, and it was something as simplistic as someone opening an email that hacked them, but it shut it all down. Like you didn't know what
somebody
room
pulled
people
something
were
in that they shouldn't have pulled in, and it basically went on the market for sale. But it never slowed us down because we plan for stuff like that.
Right.
And I don't want to say the Stone Age, but we prepared to go back to the way I used to do it when we started. Was you went back to paper.
Okay,
So-
that's key, because I think that's the thing we've seen in the medical field. Everything's electronic medical record,
And they didn't have that.
and there were
backup.
so many people. There were a lot of nurses or doctors that had started when it was paper.
Right.
So you had those, but then you had some coming out of school. They had never touched it like that.
Right. Well,
It makes a difference.
We had some new deputies that never went to that, because like all our tickets are swiped. You just scan the license and everything like that, and everything's typed in a computer. And we have a report writing system where the deputies just call in, and that helped too, because we have what we call STAR, and it's the deputies, to keep them on the road and not have to sit there and write a report all the time. They call into man or woman that works in our STAR department, and they basically dictate their report and the time and the deputies get back on the road way faster.
Oh, that is nice.
And they put their report together for them, and it's ready to go, and it's sent back, and it's approved by the supervisor. But it never slowed us down, and it never, the citizens never suffered. And had we not put out there we were hacked, they would probably never know.
Nobody would have known.
No,
Tell
we
you what,
wouldn't have known.
And I've never understood this, but the biggest thing it affected that I seen the most complaints on was, for a little while, it shut down being able to see who got booked into the county jail.
That's an important thing.
People like to see who got
You
booked
would
into
be
county jail.
surprised.
You'd be
So-
surprised. When I tell you I have friends that do that on the daily, and I'll hear, hey, so-and-so got arrested. I'm like, really?
People want to see that booking photo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And what?
We know this from personal experience with me, Shayna. But
yep,
so
that was-
anyway, that's okay. But yeah,
No, you're not wrong, though. I know
But I
people
never
that
thought
check it every
I never
single
thought
day.
to look anything like that up, and then I really didn't years ago. Now I'm like, that's hilarious. I know. Yeah.
Well, because of the media outlets and everything, and people wonder, how did the news get out so fast? But they follow everything we do. They follow our Facebook. They check our, because all our stuff is public.
have reporters
They
that are
check our
assigned to check
booking
that all the
stuff.
time.
They check,
This, yeah.
they check to see if they see somebody with some interesting charges. They're calling us every day to find out, hey, what's up with this case? Or they want the report.
My dad did it for years.
So it's daily.
He's retired from the Sentinel, and he covered some of the biggest trials in Lake County, probably some in Sumter. And
Yeah.
you're not wrong. I remember growing up, he had a police scanner before they were digital.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I used to love that. I used to love it.
hear what was going
I did.
on.
And I used to say, I think I want to be a cop. And my dad's like, Shayna, we gotta talk about your little temper. I'm not sure that's the right field for you.
I remember the scanners, because when I was first working the road, we called it scanner land, because there were certain houses we went to regularly that they would call us, if we had a cell phone back then, because they were just coming out. Dispatch wouldn't dispatch the address over the radio, because they knew that those people were listening to scan, and they knew we were coming before we got there. And they said they'd be waiting on us. Said, we knew you were coming. We heard it on the scanner.
Oh my God.
So the scanners were people love to listen to them, but they were kind of a safety issue to law enforcement.
Oh, I'm
That's
sure.
now why
I worked-
you can't scan our radios and stuff like that.
I worked at a TV station right out of college and in downtown Orlando, and I was on the assignment desk. And you can imagine, we had a scanner for every agency in Central Florida, and I was to pick up things with all that going off. But sometimes you would hear something and you were following a story. And I can remember one story where they were looking for someone and her car had gone missing, the person. And I remember hearing it was a White Eagle Talon. All I heard was White Eagle Talon. I was like, and I was like, y'all got to get there. You got to get, because you would hear it. You heard everything. Now I don't get to hear anything anymore.
Well, we're going to take another quick break and we'll be back. But thank you to our sponsors, Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care.
Nobody wants an aging family member who is unable to care for themselves to be home alone. Lake Center Home Care believes the best healing happens when you are most comfortable. The company provides exceptional personal care in the comfort and privacy of your own home. Whether you need skilled nursing, physical therapy, home health aides, or companion services, your loved ones will enjoy peace of mind knowing you're being taken care of and treated with respect and dignity. Lake Center Home Care is locally owned and managed with a team of highly qualified professionals who are passionate about taking care of their neighbors. Call 352-315-0050 or visit golchc.com to learn more about this amazing company.
Welcome back to the Style Podcast. We're talking today with Sheriff Pat Breeden from Sumter County. Pat, what is something fantastic that you're working on right now that you want everybody to know about?
Well, some of the things I'm working on right now is I'm looking forward towards a real-time crime center, and that allows our deputies a quicker response. We can see stuff as it goes, as it's happening. You know, it's live. It feeds into our dispatch. We have a great crime analyst now program that does a lot of stuff that monitors statistics and all that. But the real-time crime center will give us access to stuff that would, help our responses, and just it's going to be a great system once we get it going. But as everything, it costs money and it's time to get going, so that's some of the struggles. Technology, I want to continue to grow in the aging with technology, but as we grow, I think technology is important because you can do so much with it, and that's some of the things I want to cover is the growth, the technology, and maintaining the amount of personnel I need to cover one of the fastest growing communities in the state of Florida. So.
Yeah, that's what's amazing to me, how fast it's growing. And a while back, I can't remember how long ago it was, but I think you guys posted a picture of like the, even the, what is it called? The dispatch center where the dispatchers are, where it was kind of dark and you could see some of the monitors. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that you guys had
one
that.
dispatcher sitting with a little microphone and a little push button, to now we're running, multiple dispatchers, and we just dispatch for law enforcement. Next to us is a whole different public safety dispatch, which is for fire and EMS. So
oh wow, that's separate.
We're only sheriff's office, and our room, there's an identical room right next to it. So, and another thing as technology grows, I fully believe in transparency. I want the public. I'm put there by the citizens of Sumter County, so I want them to know what we're doing, and I don't hide nothing. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. The citizens are going to know about it. So one thing I've done is when I was under sheriff, we looked at and we implemented body camera systems. But now I've taken it one step further, and we're putting a in-car camera in every patrol car. So not only will you have a body cam worn by the deputies, you have an in-car camera system. And we took it one step further because I even put body cameras on every corrections officer I have inside our detention center, because
Wow.
The jail has a lot of cameras in it.
Yeah.
But there's nooks and crannies. And we had a complaint on an officer one time that was unfounded, but the body cam helped save that because, let's face it, the inmates in there all day, they know where the cameras don't look. So if that officer has a body camera on,
Yeah, and if
so it
helps
them.
it actually helps the deputy.
And a lot of the deputies were like, man, it's like Big Brother watching us. And no, it's not. Once they got them, we
Right.
tested them for a little while. They didn't want to give them back because they're like, this is here to protect us.
Oh yeah.
And everything so y'all probably seen the video we did the other day where the guy come at the deputy and he has to tase him several times on one of my things. So they protect us, and now that the deputies are getting used to them, they really like them and don't want to give them up.
I think that's a great idea. I also wanted to ask you, I know years ago you were a canine officer. Tell us about that, because we love our dogs.
I do love dogs.
So how was
I do.
that? And being emotionally attached as a trainer.
Did you get to keep it after?
I'm going to tell you the story, and I'm going to admit I cried like the biggest baby you had ever met because I was working one day and my dog died on duty unexpectedly.
We would have too.
I stopped by the house for lunch, and I'd had him at this point for probably 6-7 years. We'd been working together, and I was with him day and night because he was like a family member.
Yeah,
me.
they lived
His
with
name
you.
was Max, and we stopped at the house. I was going to eat lunch one day, and I had a fenced-in yard, so I just let him out of the car to be a dog, run around, bathroom break, whatever. So I went and ate lunch, and when I got out, I got to the car, and usually he's waiting on me. He's ready to go back to work and get in his air conditioner car and all that good stuff. So I'm calling him and calling him and calling him. Well, he didn't respond. I'm like, oh, no, where's he at? I thought maybe he got out or something.
Yeah.
So, and by that time, he come to me, and I could see him. He was stumbling sideways. I'm like, oh. So I threw him in the car, lights and siren to the vet's office. And unfortunately, it makes me want to tear up now, but he passed away. So
I am so sorry.
it was she's had a doggy version of a heart attack, whatever that may be. But he was 8 years old, and him dogs are
German
high
Shepherd?
strung German Shepherd.
Yeah.
So he was. It was
It is hard.
sad, but
Oh yeah, it's so hard. Listen, it's hard to lose a pet.
yeah.
And you guys have quite a few now, a
We have
handful,
quite
right?
A few. We got
of
several, and
canines?
we've got everything from full service dogs, which is the apprehension, the tracking, all that, to bloodhounds, to we have dogs in our school system that detect guns, bombs, all that
Are
stuff.
those your labs?
So there.
Do you have
One's
any
a
labs?
lab, and another one's it's a weird name. I can't remember. They're not necessarily labs. It's a different type, and I can't even remember I can't even remember the breed of that dog.
It's so amazing.
We even
how
have one in
smart
our
they are.
jail that's a shepherd. That it's not an aggressive shepherd, but it's trained to detect cell phones. If you can imagine that. So that's
It
one of the
stays
things they
in the
like to
jail?
smuggle in.
Really?
It stays in a jail. It's assigned to one of our lieutenants.
Wow.
And it walks around the jail with her all day long.
And
It is so
sniffs
amazing.
cell phones
They'll
out.
smell out cell phones within inside of the detention center.
It's
if they hide 'em.
amazing
And
what they
drugs
can
also.
train them to do.
That's insane, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing, and we've got the gun dogs, the bomb dogs, and all that stuff. But probably the most impressive, is the bloodhounds because their scent is just so much better as far as how long a track could have been there. And because like my shepherd, he could track a scent, but it was usually the freshest scent.
Right.
And the bloodhound can actually depict a scent because we have scent kits and we have like the articles like you see in the movies, stick a sock in their nose, say, track this guy down. But that's reality. They can do that.
really?
And it is amazing.
I saw that on your website that you have a thing that people can get a scent kit, and like if an elderly person goes missing or whatever. I just read that last night that you guys have that program that you can have like a scent kit where it stores the person's scent.
That's really
Because
cool.
as we have an aging population, we have it's estimated, it's a little higher, I think, than estimated. About 11% of our population suffers from some type of mental disorder, such as dementia or something like that. So we have what we call a SAFE program, Sumter Safe. I urge everybody to look on our website and take advantage of the programs that we do offer, because we even have free GPS watches that we give people that you can track your loved one if they tend to wander or do something like that.
Oh, wow.
It will give you for free. And
That's a great
we have a lot of great programs, and people don't know we have those programs. And that's when I talk about technology. This is something simple. This is just common sense, everyday stuff that people don't think to use. And it's something as simple as the scent kit or this GPS watch.
Yeah, that watch is really a good idea.
yeah.
Yes,
It
there
would
are.
cost, if me and you went out and bought it, it would probably cost us $7,000 to have this program or something. We're giving it to you for free
That's
to help
awesome.
your family. And it's reduced our calls for service time. We had a guy, one of our success stories, we had a guy wander off. His wife called in the middle of the night, says, I've tracked him on my phone, and we found him within 15 minutes versus having to send a bunch of manpower, a helicopter, and all that. And he had fallen on a golf course in the middle of the night, snuck out of the house, and fell into some bushes. And we was able to go straight to where he was at, and within 15 minutes, total call time, he's recovered and back at his house.
Wow.
So, and that could have been an hour call had it not been for.
Yeah, or longer.
Watch.
That's amazing.
So we offer so many programs. But I urge people to look at them and use them. They're free. They cost you nothing.
Especially with the aging population, the village is growing more that direction. So
But we have so much stuff that's available to the public that the public doesn't even know about that I try to make them aware of. So, and if nobody takes anything away from this, I encourage people to get involved with our local agency to see the stuff that they have. Because most people don't think about talking to a cop until they need a cop.
right.
But there's so much stuff out there that we offer.
Yeah, it's not just a reactionary thing when something goes wrong. It's you guys are there to help all the time.
Right. So.
Well, I have to end on my legacy question where I ask, what does Pat Breeden's legacy look like? Because I was thinking about this, and I think you were sworn in around the same age that Sheriff Farmer probably was, or not too far off from it.
Probably.
when I was thinking about it last night, and I'm like, not that you want to retire someday, but what do you want people to remember about you?
I do want to retire someday.
Someday, exactly. Yes, yeah.
So, I want to be remembered as, the sheriff that was fair, but he served, I served with fairness, and I grew the agency, and I maintained a professional agency, and an agency that the citizens can be proud of. So, and that's, you never want somebody to say, man, the agency sure went downhill since he took over. And I'm not going to let that happen, because we're going to give 110%. We're going to have an agency that's going to be second to none. And we already are second to none, in my opinion. So that's what I want to be remembered for, is I want fairness, an agency that's second to none, and I want to leave it in somebody. And when I do retire, get that point, somebody else takes an agency over that they can be proud of, and they can continue whatever they want their legacy to be.
That's the mindset to have. Speaking.
I love to say that every great leader knows when to make an exit.
Right.
You want to leave before you know that you should have, and
Somebody said, always leave one term before the people want you to leave.
That's right. That's right. Well, we appreciate you so much being here with us today, Pat. I was really looking forward to this conversation, just because we don't get to always connect with people that are in your, you're a sheriff, you've got a lot of stuff to do, your caliber of people, and we love it.
It's nice that you guys have known each other for so long.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I have an open door policy. I tell all people all the time, call me if you need something. I'm not hard to find.
Yes. And we appreciate that about you. But thank you again for joining us today. And thank you for joining us on the Style Podcast. We're so happy that we got to talk to Sheriff Pat Breeden today. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Lake Center Home Care and Disability Consultants. We'll see you next time. So that was great. I love talking to Pat.
He is really one of the nicest guys.
I knew he was going to win, and I knew it was going to be a landslide. But the fact that he was out there giving it his all no matter what, because we saw him.
That's how I met him, is when you took me to the fair that year that I had to watch the beauty pageant of death.
No, you watched that before. Well, no, you did that night too.
Yes,
but
it's the beauty pageant of death.
But we saw him with all of his guys, Darren.
Yeah.
Everybody out there.
He gave me a shirt,
campaigning.
and all
Yes,
they had
I
was
still
kids
have-
left, and I still have it, but it's like a toddler size, like just to like, hey.
Yeah, I have the
He's
shirt
a
too.
nice guy.
And I love the fact that he took it serious and he gave it his all, and he was out there. I know down towards the wire when it was getting close to election time, he had a commitment like every single night, and he was there.
It's his home. It's his community.
Even though he knew he was going to win.
Right.
I think in the back of his head, he had to make sure he won. Like he there's still some uncertainty with it, but that was a great conversation. And I'm so surprised at all the stuff that's going on in Sumter County.
Sumter County's very blessed to have him.
It's not the same Sumter County it was when we were little. It's growing so much.
There's
And
Lake County.
I know everything's changing, but it's awesome.
I wasn't kidding. If somebody from DOT's listening, I need them to fix the roads.
The traffic problem, yeah. So, but yeah, that was great.
It was fun. It was fun.